All right, we're back here with some huge news. I mean, they were hyping this. The UFC did say they were going to put out some really big news. Let's just start with the most obvious one. Um, Ilya Tabor is no longer champion. He vacated. He's moving up to fight Islam. Most likely, he's going to be. I thought he was going to try to chase that double champ status, but it was clear that he probably couldn't keep the featherweight belt. So he vacated it, and now Volkanovski versus Lopez for the featherweight champion belt. And I mean, this is a good fight. This is a really good fight. I mean, if there was a fight that I would have loved Volkanovski to have, it was definitely Lopez. I think if he just fought Ilia Topuria, it just wouldn't have been another loss. And I think against Lopez, I mean, Lopez is a dangerous guy, and he definitely has really good boxing and really good power. You know, he can definitely shut people's lights out. And he starts really fast in the first round. He has really good he starts really fast. He's a really fast fighter. And against a guy like Volkanovski, he's getting up there in age. But I mean, this fight is a really good. This is a really good fight. I mean, I think this was teased for a while, and it was a very drastic turn of events. We would thought we would have seen Islam versus Topuria matchup, and I think we might be seeing that in International Fight Week, but they haven't announced it yet. But they announced UFC 314, and it's looking tight. It is looking tight right now. I mean, we got Volkanovski versus Lopez. We got Chandler versus Pimblett. Pimblett's number 12, which is actually surprising. I thought he was number 15. But yeah, Chandler versus Pimblett. Chandler's finally fighting someone that isn't a top 5 opponent. So that's pretty good. And I mean, this is really awesome. I think this is a good one. This is a good fight. I think it's a very good stylistic fight. But for sure, I mean, UFC 314, we're seeing the full entire list right here. We got Volkanovski versus Lopez. We got Chandler versus Pimblett. And then we got Yair Rodriguez versus Patricio Pitbull. They finally gave Pitbull an opponent. I think he's being signed to the UFC now. And he's fighting as number 5 Yair, which is actually a really good fight. I think that would have been the best way to introduce him to the UFC. And I'm glad they're signing him because he definitely deserves to be signed with the UFC at this point. We got Jeff Neal versus Carlos Prates. Good striking fight. I mean, it's going to be fireworks. We got Nikita Krylov versus Dominick Reyes. I mean, this fight, this card is so good. And hopefully I don't, we got Darren Elkins versus Arosa, Duma versus Olajaychuk, and Sumer Derji versus Raposo. I mean, this is a good card. This is really good. I mean, this is really good. Man, thank God I bought tickets for this event because this is really good. I am gonna be attending this event from the beginning to the end, bro. Like, I don't give a fuck. Look at this card. It is stacked. Now, usually these cards don't age well, you know? They get announced, and then next thing you know, there's a lot of fight cancellations. Hopefully this doesn't happen. I think this is really shaping up to be one of the better cards we see this year. And I mean, I'm really hyped for the Volkanovski versus Lopez fight. I'm really hyped for the Rodriguez for Pitbull fight. And I'd say a sleeper fight right now would be Krylov versus Reyes. I think that is a fight that could be a banger. And we could see Reyes kind of entering into the title picture if he gets a dominant finish in this fight. And then, we're going to go. Let's go to the UFC London announcement. Leon Edwards fighting Sean Brady. You'll see why JDM, Jack Della Maddalena, you can already see why he's not in this event. Now, nothing much I can say about this yet, but there's a reason why JDM's not in this event. You know why? Because JDM is fighting Bilal Muhammad for the World Welterweight Championship. Now, Shavkat got done dirty with this. I thought he was going to get the next title shot. Everyone thought he was going to get the next title shot. JDM was kind of giving a title eliminator, which makes sense. But he's now getting the title shot. And honestly, I just think this fight just has a lot of questions. It has a lot of questions. And I mean, look at the comments, man. Like, I mean, everyone is just surprised that Shavkat's not getting this title shot. And now we're just seeing JDM get this title shot, which is very unexpected. I mean, he's had one top 5 win. And he's coming up a very not only say controversial, but honestly, he did get a lucky finish against Burns, and this fight is it's just weird. Now, this is actually a good main event. I think this fight will be really good. Now, is Bilal Muhammad gonna win this fight? Of course he is. He's gonna win this fight. Honestly, I just don't see JDM's ground game really improving. And with Bilal Muhammad, he's just gonna wrestle. He's kind of his pressure wrestling and his boxing. I think he does really well against these type of strikers. So, I mean, we'll see. But JDM has the opportunity to do one of the best things we can do right now and knock this guy out so that we can finally have a champion that isn't fucking boring. But we have Shevchenko going against Fiorot. This was bound to happen. I'm glad this happened instead of the Wei Li Zhang fight. I mean, I like these type of super fights between Zhang and Shevchenko, but Fiorot deserved this title shot more than a year ago. And they had to run that back with Grasso and Shevchenko, obviously because the last one ended in a tie. But now we're finally getting here. She's finally getting a title shot. She's French, and this is Montreal, so I think this makes sense. Bilal Muhammad, Della Maddalena, questionable, but I think this will be a good fight. It should have been Shavkat. Shavkat deserved the shot by far. He has the biggest winning streak. He is undefeated. He has a 91% finish rate. I mean, Shavkat's the most dangerous guy in welterweight right now, and for him not to get this title shot over right now, it just surprised me. It surprised me. I thought we were gonna see Muhammad versus Rakhmonov. But it's clear Muhammad just wants the easier matchup. This is a way easier matchup than Shavkat. I don't know what the hell Bilal's doing. He's calling out Shavkat, but he's not fighting him. So there's a lot of questions for this fight. A lot of questions. Now, I'm going to give my predictions for this fight. For Volkanovski versus Lopez, I actually will give Lopez more of leeway here. Here's the thing. For this Volkanovski, I really have a lot of questions. Because we haven't seen him fight in a year, and the last time he fought, he was doing well against Topuria, but his chin was very questionable. Now he's had time to recover that chin, and I feel like he's going to come back maybe with a vengeance. I feel like he's going to come back stronger. And the fact that Topuria is not fighting him actually gives me more of a chance. I think Volkanovski takes the title back. Now, Lopez is dangerous in the first round, and I think Volk has weathered more dangerous storms than Lopez. I mean, I think if Volkanovski doesn't get knocked down in that first round, I think he wins this. And for a 5-round fight, I give Volkanovski more of the chance. Volkanovski has that experience. He has that 5-round experience. He's dealt with fast fighters like Lopez. He's fought the Ortegas. He's fought the Yairs. He's fought every type of caliber of opponent. I just don't see Lopez really giving Volkanovski so much trouble. But if Lopez comes out there and overwhelms Volkanovski and maybe gets a TKO, that could definitely happen, or a KO. I mean, Diego Lopez can shot anyone's lights out. And after his performance against Ortega, I mean, it's clear that this guy's definitely a future champion. But with Volkanovski, I just think Volkanovski can win this. So I'm going with Volkanovski. For the co-main, Chandler versus Pimblett. Honestly, this is a very close fight. I don't know. In my opinion, I think Chandler gets a lot of hate. And yes, he does. He's lost pretty much against all the top 5. And he hasn't really fought anyone below his rankings. But I think he's still a pretty good fighter. He's definitely a dangerous fighter. And for a guy like Patty, I mean, Chandler's pretty hard to submit. If Charles Oliveira couldn't submit this guy, then I don't think Patty's going to do it either. And this is a 5-round fight. And when it is a 5-round fight, I tend to give fighters who have been in those 5-rounders before. And I think Chandler has definitely proven himself to be a 5-rounder guy. This guy was still giving Charles a lot of trouble in that 5th round after getting demolished. I just think, in my opinion, I think Chandler wins this. I don't see Pimblett really taking that power, taking the strikes. I don't think Pimblett's going to survive that wrestling. And maybe I'm sleeping on it. Maybe he's going to submit Chandler. I don't know. But Chandler ain't no Bobby Green. And what we've seen from his other fights, I'm not really impressed with Pimblett. Not yet. He could definitely deliver a star performance in this fight. But right now, based on the hype he has, based on the type of performances he's had, Bobby Green's his best win. And when I see him fighting Jared Gordon, when I saw his performance against Tony Ferguson, it's like he dominated Tony Ferguson, but he didn't finish him, and it's just like there's a lot of questions. Like Chandler's a pretty tough guy to beat. Like, I mean, Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, they were almost getting, and Charles Oliveira almost got finished by this guy. In the first round, Chandler is really dangerous, and I don't like pinless chances here. So, if I were to go with a winner, I'd say Chandler. I'd say Chandler by TKO. I think this guy will destroy Pimblett. And I think Chandler's still a pretty good fighter. And, you know, now that he's not in that Conor fight kind of thing, the whole deal, the whole schmuck, I think this is a good one. Now, did I give my predictions for this fight? No, I didn't. But for Bilal Muhammad versus Dallin Lena, the UFC 315 main event, I'm going Muhammad. This is a pretty easy matchup for him. JDM's biggest weakness is his ground game, and although JDM has really good crisp boxing, he has that good power, he is really good at pressuring. I just think against strikers, Bilal Muhammad has it pretty easy. This guy can just wrestle the hell out of Dallin Lena, and he doesn't have that. He doesn't have a shitty chin like Burns, who can really get just like tapped by JDM like that. You know, I think Bilal Muhammad dominates JDM to a decision. I think it's pretty much possible. I think this is an easier matchup for him than Shavkat was. At least Shavkat was a good striker and a good grappler. But JDM is a good striker, but not a good grappler. I mean, he's a decent grappler. He's able to survive Burns grappling. But against Bilal Muhammad is the best wrestler right now in the welterweight division. Although people can say Usman, but Usman hasn't fought in like a year, more than that. So I don't really count him. And Bilal Muhammad's performance against Leon Edwards showed everyone that this guy is a guy. This guy just doesn't quit. This guy will keep pressing you on. And the fact that he was able to do well against a guy like Leon, who dominated Usman, who dominated Colby Covington, who were the two best welterweights back then. I mean, I think Bilal Muhammad's only getting better. Now that he's training with Khabib, I just don't see JDM winning this fight. JDM can do something really funny and knock out Bilal Muhammad. And honestly, I wouldn't mind that. But if we're being real, if we're going to be making the picks that make sense, Bilal Muhammad's winning this. Dominant decision. I don't think he's going to submit JDM. But I see a 5-round or 4-round. I see in the first round, JDM's probably going to tag him up. But 4-round domination decision for Bilal Muhammad. Easier pick. Put Bilal Muhammad by decision. It's probably like minus 10,000 at this point. For Shevchenko versus Fiorot, Shevchenko takes this. Although Fiorot is a pretty good opponent, I just think Shevchenko's striking is better. And I see Shevchenko kind of is like this in this situation in flyweight where she's kind of cleared the division. I mean, she's a champion for a reason. After what she did against Grasso, I mean, I don't see anyone in flyweight beating her. And I think with this win, she should definitely deserve to move up and fight maybe Pena or Harrison to get that double belt, because frankly Amanda Nunes is not fighting anymore, so she could definitely get a double champ. So yeah, I'm taking Shevchenko for this. This is a pretty easy pick. Although a lot of French people will disagree with me and say, oh, Fiorot's up there, he's up there. Like, come on, bro. Shevchenko's built different. And I think Shevchenko's really well-rounded. I think she has the better striking. I'd say she has the better wrestling as well. And I think she dominates Fiorot for 5 rounds. I think people are going to realize that Fiorot is kind of a fraud check here. Next, we got the new UFC London main event. We got Edwards versus Brady. And this actually changes a lot of things up. So before I made a prediction for this man, and I said Edwards would win this. Now with Brady, this is different now. JDM is a striker with no ground game. And that's why I thought Leon Edwards would win this, because Leon does well against these one-dimensional guys, these strikers. And I think he would have definitely been able to handle JDM. For Brady, though, Brady's a pretty good wrestler. And he has that pressure wrestling style. The way he did Burns last time, I mean, that was pretty good. It showed Brady is still a big deal. And although I'd still have Edwards winning this. I think it's going to be a lot closer. And I think this definitely changes things up. Now this is short notice. I mean, they only have like pretty much a month to prepare. And Edwards has to switch to a whole different style. I think this is way more competitive than the Edwards versus JDM fight. And I'm glad that at least this fight's getting made, because at least we get to see Leon kind of handle someone like Brady, so that if he does win, that warrants a Bilal Muhammad rematch. And I think Leon Edwards in the rematch in a time zone where he can actually fight that isn't 6 a.m. beats Bilal Muhammad. And if he delivers a good performance against Sean Brady, that reinforces my point even more. Leon Edwards is still the best striker in this division, and this man has pretty good grappling and wrestling. He was up almost he took down Bilal Muhammad, and he was able to, and he almost submitted him as well. He took down Usman. He out wrestled Colby. I mean, this guy is very underrated when it comes to his grappling, and I think against a guy like Brady, although Brady has good wrestling, he has good grappling, I just think Edwards takes this. But I think it would be closer. So, we'll see. I mean, man, we have a lot of stuff, man. This was good. I mean, yeah. We got the fight night. I already made my predictions for this fight night, but I had to make this video. I have a physics exam tomorrow. I gotta sleep. But, yep. Gave my predictions for this fight. Anyways, catch you in the next one.